Thank you everyone for the stay until now for discussion. I love the keyword here is the profit. I think that is a kind of the very few occasions that I heard the marketer focus on the margin and profits. And in fact, in Vietnam, I think since last year, we are in the discount war among the brand. And I think the challenge for every brand, every company is we sell more and we lose more. Right? Because we compete in order, we give more discount so that the margin is really impacted. And only when we have the financial guide, sit down and analyze, then we say like, hey, revenue increase, but we lost. So so that's why I love the topic, right? I think Gary and Rafael did a good job in terms of how the Martech can help to improve the profits. But I want to hear more about how. But I didn't hear anything about the AI because talking about the AI empowerment. So how AI play in that role in order to get better profit from the traditional tool. Let's say that the tool today in compare with your tool 2 years ago. What is new and how it helps you to give customer the profit. So we start with the tool solution vendor first and then talking about the Juan and Sir. Okay? You can start first.
Right, we are saving the AI topic for today, so we have a lot more content to talk about. So if we look at AI, there are two forms of AI that we actually see. One is generative AI, and one is predictive AI. Both come together can create a powerful synergy to increase profits. So in context of like analytics, when coming into a new tool, it can take a user up to 30 to 60 days to learn something before they can get insight about the users. Now, with generative AI, right, the best thing that it can give, it reduces the time to value for you to get insights. So now imagine you finish implementing your analytics tool. Instead of taking 60 days to understand your users, it's going to take you probably a couple of days to a few weeks. And with that being said, right, if we go deeper into giving you insights about the users, another notion about predictive AI, right, it helps you to also surface behaviors about your users that you don't know. You don't have to like manually find through all the interactions your users do. We just want to click a button. It can give you all the behaviors of a users in a click. So for example, let's say you want to understand how users go through an e-commerce funnel from the view page, add to cart, and complete purchase. And if you see a conversion going up, the next thing you're going to ask is why? What users are causing this conversion to increase? But what are some of the users that is not giving my conversion to be 100%? So through predictive AI, right, what it goes through is scans through all the data you have. It tells you it could be an example, maybe because your font size is too small. Customers having a smaller font size don't convert as well as compared on users using iPad or website. Or it could be maybe your new users are the one that are getting excited to give you the conversion and not your old users. So instead of spending time to dig so much into the data, generative AI provides you an easy way to get insights you need quicker, and predictive AI helps you to surface behaviors in a much quicker way as soon as possible.
So the generative AI already embedded in your tool? Because when I saw your demo, right, you play a lot with the click and rush, requiring some kind of experience to follow the flow in order to understand what is the better part. But for generative AI, for the marketer, I just ask the question, give me the better part in order to get the better revenue. And I show you, I don't need to go through the complicated flow. What is your future?
That is a very good question. So unpopular opinion, right? Generative AI allows you to quickly get answers you need. But imagine the first thing your boss asks, why is this customer in this like power cohort? Why it is customers likely to purchase? And imagine you as a marketer, I don't know. That becomes a problem. So the goal of this, right, it's with AI, when you can get answers you need about these users, we can't just leave it as there. We can get this cohort, take a deeper analysis to find out the why, and this can actually help to justify our strategies to execute a lot better campaigns, and also giving us the ability to report back to the board of management.
I think Juan already
Yeah,
want to add on.
I just wanted to add a comment to what you
Yeah.
said about marketers can ask the question. And I think that one of the biggest challenges is coming up with a question. It's finding the question in the first place. But what I found really impressive about Mixpanel is that the generative AI feature where you can chat to your data, you can ask it questions, and it will pull up a summary and provide you that insight. And when we think about profitability and margin, we often think about it in the concept of cost of acquisition. So how much you're spending on ads, and what revenue is that driving, or the discounting on price and how much margin you're losing off that. But there's all this margin loss in operations. In actually, 90% of data analysis is getting the data organized. It's literally getting it into a spreadsheet so you can answer some questions. And what I found really impressive about Mixpanel was that, and other tools that are doing this, is that you can use Gen AI to get those answers very quickly. The quicker you can get to an insight, quicker you can solve problems for your customer, the better your margin, because you're not spending all of this time on literally on the most expensive part of your business, which is your staff, pulling out data and analyzing it and figuring out the answers. So I think that's I'd like to reframe it, because I think often, a lot of our costs in marketing is in the staff side and not on necessarily the discount and the advertising spend. So but again, it goes back to having good questions.
Yep. I follow up with the end user side, right? So when you look at the demo, do you think this is the tool for your team at the data analytics team or for marketer?
Before choosing the vendor, I must to look back our data.
No, I'm not talking about a vendor. I'm talking about the user interface.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can see that there is a lot of data you need to analyze, and you see what is the best way to improve the product in order to improve the profitability, for example.
Yeah, through the demo and presentation from the team, I feel like this tool will help the marketing team, especially in Pharmacity, can automate their work, in their manual work a lot, and can help them to see the pattern or training from the data that they never see in before, because manually work on the data is based on the experience, based on the bias of their experience, but based on the AI or the tool will help they to pull out all of the opportunity from the data, and can help I strongly believe that this tool will help the marketing to make the promotion better, or drive the profit to grower. Yeah, I think so.
So Gary, how AI play today in your loyalty solution? In particular, in terms of the profit, the improvement.
Right now, our team is exploring how generative AI can really understand the connection of all the different data to really have a context of whether your promotions is a good promotions or not, whether your loyalty program, whether it's responsibly designed or not. So, but the challenge of this is making sure that the generative AI has the capability to really put data into context. Right now, we see it does a lot of the data analytics works well when we give them clear instructions. But like you say, when the marketers do not know how to ask the right questions, how can the generative AI put together things into perspective for that person? So our recommendation, our thought is, whenever you have a tech project, going through any digital transformation, AI or not, you need to invest in the people who understand the capabilities, the direction, the potential, and the downfall, so that they can lead the project. So if everyone has this kind of mentality, the growth mindset to expose themselves to technicalities of the AI, understanding the limitations, then perhaps even for Mixpanel, sometimes it can be technical to some marketers, which is why you have asked the questions. But if they are well enabled, they could probably very well handle it, and then it becomes a tool for them that makes their job a lot more easier. So whatever tech project, always start with the right people to be able to lead it. I think that's how we always advise our users.
Okay. In fact, in your presentation, there is a keyword that I use when I discuss with executive about the innovation or digital transformation for this year. Said again, it's back to basic. It's not something fancy, it's not something trendy. We need to focus on the, not only to increase the revenue, but also optimize the cost. So somehow that is improve the margin, right? So I think that somehow the solution, your solution already address that the need from the market. So what are the barriers for the adoption kind of the solution in particularly in the Vietnam market? What is barrier that you have so far?
So if you look at the adoption, right, I mean, for analytics tool like us, it's more about first the awareness. And you'll be surprised when we did a survey, and most Vietnamese are using Google Analytics. And after they use Mixpanel, right, they feel that, oh, actually product analytics was easier than using Google Analytics. So it's more of the awareness, and it's taking that first leap of faith. So to give a bit more context, right, let's say you see a new kind of food. You don't know it's nice, it looks a bit different for you, but after you take the first bite, and when you get addicted, you will keep using it. Now, if we look at the adoption, right, the goal here is not to get the users to become expert users, but we want the users to actually create a creative thinking process whereby they'll ask, why? Can I know more? Dig deeper, ask follow-up questions. And now, I think it sounds cliche that you don't have to rely on the data team to actually get your answers 3 days later. I want to ask a follow-up question 3 days later. You take 6 days to create one actionable item. But with a tool that is so fast in nature, when you're empowered to do things you can do, for example, you don't have to ask someone to open the water for you, you can do it yourself, you can drink, and after you can throw it. All these processes, right, is going to create that ease of adoption after they take the very first big step.
Any add-on?
In my opinion, at least for the solution that we are promoting to the customers, an engine for omni-channel promotions loyalty program, a lot of the times the challenge for them to adopt it is really because they don't see the user, the consumers actually have evolved to that kind of level. Because if you look at companies that are already very tech native, they are doing, they have in-house developers, they are building technology product from day one, then yes, it's very easy for them to adopt tools like us. But if you're talking about traditional businesses, important verticals that have been impacting our daily lives, for example, convenience stores, for example, huge retailers, they are not tech native. They might have some tech projects already. So you have an app, you have a loyalty app, you have a QR code to scan. But the daily consumer behaviors is still very basic in a sense that they're just going to the retail stores, check in, check out, pay, that's it. So when the customers, when the consumers have not evolved to that stage, then sometimes it's too early to ask like how complete our digital infrastructure should be. So the concern on this is probably one of the biggest obstacles when we talk to industries that are not so tech-driven, tech-native. But the idea, of course, is whether they have a proper roadmap, whether they have put together a proper plan that they know, yes, today might not be the good time to put everything digital, but what is the step-by-step way? And what is the first step? And the first step is always making sure that you have the right infrastructure for that kind of flexibility to happen in a short time. So it won't be a painful digital transformation process. But this takes time to really enable them to understand this concept.
Again, I want to double check with Sir, right? So from your the end user perspective, from the company like you, right? What are the barriers for you to adopt the kind of tool which already help you to improve the profits that is very nice that today, right?
Yeah. I think the biggest barrier is about the budget. Yeah. Because brand like our company, we before the invest in the new tool, we will check about the in-house capability. Can we build it in-house? So because like Pharmacity, we are a startup with the number of store growing monthly and yearly with the very high target. So we must to balance between the open the new store, invest to the new store, or invest to the technology. So we are on the way to build the data platform. The fundamental of the technology, because data look like the data flow look like the cash flow for the financial. The technology, the tool need data to to run the algorithm or all of the thing. So we before the choosing the vendor, the solution, we must to look back and do the ROI, to comparison between the recruit new people, to recruit open a new team, to develop ourselves, or work with the vendor for the quick win project. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
So there's one thing I talk about a lot when it comes to Martech adoption in companies, and a lot of brands, they often, and technology vendors, they are often struggling with convincing the executive teams that the technology solution's the right one, worth investing in, or the marketing strategy is worth investing in. And a lot of those blockers, those challenges, are actually generational. And we don't talk about this very much at all in the marketing tech. We think it's about budgets and about operations, but often the executive, like the CMO, just has no idea what you're talking about. They literally just don't understand the acronyms.
But if they're talking about the machine, CFO love to hear about that, right?
Yeah. but it's real, because if you think about it, our industry is only like barely 20 years old. So a lot of senior marketers, a lot of even IT leaders, they grew up in they started and had their formative years in their career in a very different world. And so there's two solutions to that: is look for the companies, or if you're working in a brand, that the executives really trust the next generation to guide them, and they really give that advice. And it sounds like that's been a very an amazing story for you. But the other side is that sometimes you just need to let the next generation go on retirement. The only other way is for the next generation to come and to bring these new ideas. When I see a company, a legacy business that's been around for 100 years, employ a 30-year-old person as the CMO or as the head of digital, that's a really good sign that they're willing to embrace the next generation, the next ideas. And it's often something, and a lot of companies will just struggle with this, and they try and convince, and they try and, they do the pitch deck, they do the business case, and they struggle. But often they can't do anything because it's generational. And you really can't blame anyone for that. But, so if anything, don't put the pressure on yourself to try and convince the executive, because a lot of times they won't hear it. There's just no way
I
around
agree.
that.
So that's why when I heard from the previous panel that we try to convince the board management, etc. It's like, why we don't invite them to hear? Yeah. Right? So that we don't need the CMO or marketer to go back to convince the board management, right?
They won't come because they're busy. Because they're busy planning their retirement.
Okay, I follow up in terms of the Martech. I follow up in terms of the Martech trend. I think when talking about the AI in the Martech, we're talking about the AI integrated in the back end of the solution, right? That is the how we do last 2 years, right? And it's kind of the transparent from end user. From end user, said okay, the tool is more efficient, more smarter, but it's not some kind of the because you say that is AI empowered, then user say that understand that is AI empowered, right? But now with the generative AI, it changes from the end user perspective, right?
Yeah,
how you see that in the?
I definitely agree. I mean, there's the thing that we think about when we go to any technology is how do I use it in a company? How are we going to use it? How are we going to invest in it? How are we going to actually create value from the tech? But often things happen in technology that have nothing to do with your brand but impact it. For example, Google search. It's not AI, but it was early algorithmic technology, and it transformed how companies become visible. It created the SEO industry. It created this whole category of marketers that all they're really trying to do is to keep Google's algorithm happy and to rank well in search. That's literally, like, they're not actually marketing to humans, they're marketing to an algorithm. And if you think about it from that perspective, generative AI is just that next evolution of, if customers, I mentioned in the talk earlier today, which was, customers are already using these tools for shopping. They're already using ChatGPT for research for products. They're already using AI to even negotiate with brands on a better deal, which is good. If you've ever bought a house, negotiating with a real estate agent is painful. I'd rather an AI do that. Thank you very much. Or buying a car. Like, no one really wants to deal with a sales agent at a dealership to buy a car. Let's be honest here. So there'll be a lot of tools, I think, that customers will use, and brands just need to be ready for that. And one of the best ways to be ready for that is to look at AI tools not as something you use, but a channel you can use to market with. How do you integrate your data or expose your metadata on your brand to ChatGPT or to Google Gemini, which is the newer model that just was released? How do you leverage that so that you are visible when customers are asking AIs for answers around the questions for their life, but questions for the products they want to buy as well? So, you know, it's very early, but I can definitely see AI agents, ChatGPT, and other tools similar to it as a new channel for marketers. But let's see if it spawns a new type of SEO agency. Maybe the AEO industry, the AIEO, the AI Engine Optimization Agency. There you go. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I would like to have some question from the audience. I think the topic is quite interesting, and especially again, the profit is the keyword that we should focus for this year, right? So one want to have question with our the panelists here. So, anyone have the KPI to improve the profits for this year from the marketer? I heard a lot about the customer experience, customer satisfaction, the revenue, etc. Right? Anyone have the profits, improve the profits for this year? Yeah, please.
Hello, thanks for your sharing. So, you guys provide, I think, impressive solution for Martech, but I think with the small startup, built from scratch, so you don't have a lot of customer. So you can say some idea using Martech or some tool to helping them grow from 0 to 1.
So you are the startup.
Yeah.
So how the Martech can help a startup
like
you to
we are in a protect.
Okay.
Yeah, industry. Yeah.
Sorry, which industry?
Protect. Property. Yeah. Yeah.
So from the B2B or B2C business?
B2C and B2B, both of them. Yeah.
Okay, so do you mean like having listings for people to look at, then
yeah.
So in any startup phase, right, I think the very first thing you need to look at is the competitive edge, or what we call product market fit. And the goal here is to understand or first develop your unique proposition that is different from the competitors. Because if everyone's the same, the only thing you compete on, which is price, and that affects profit margin. So let's not talk about tools first. I think the first thing you need to know is what can drive my customer to your platform or your startup to get value from. Okay, and why, profit is a big word, but we need to first understand also what drives profit. And vouchers is never a good way to drive profit because it's very short term and people will buy just because of vouchers. It might not be so relevant in the property, but one thing you can actually look at potentially is service. So if you ask, we have budget airlines, we have budget hotels. we have premium hotels and premium airlines. Why are people still willing to pay the extra price to premium hotels and airlines service? So I think the question you need to first ask yourself, do you have anything currently in your startup that is unique? How can I get my users to be aware of this unique value proposition? Is there anything I can enhance the user experience? No matter how good your product is or how powerful your startup is, right? If customers don't have a good experience from the start to an end, they will leave. So this is something to take some considerations on. I'm always happy to chat with you one-on-one to have a bit more like a personalized thought, but this is a general case of the idea.
Thank you.
From my experience, I think if you are a startup, probably don't have enough of data to start with, and then you just don't have that traffic to really start making things to make sure that it's actually scalable. You don't have to worry about that. What you have to worry, like what Rafael has said, product market fit. And in this product market fit, you have to also consider your runway, right? You need to make sure that before your runway ends, you find a product market fit. And then, so how do you find this product market fit? There will take a lot of experiments. You need to fail fast, learn fast, and then move fast. So in order to be able to fail fast, learn fast, and then keep on optimizing, pivoting, so that you could find product market fit before runway runs out, it would be with how well do you know your team, and then whether you want to really build everything in-house. Because if everything comes back to just cost efficiency, then buying a solution in a cost that you find acceptable, but it provides a very controlled manner because you know it works. It already works whatever you want it to do, and then within this framework, keep testing. So I think there's also benefit for startups to consider solutions, but of course it's always about finding that right balance so that it's cost effective and yet give you the best chance to find product market fit in a controlled manner.
Thank you.
Can I just add one item here, which is, to your point, do the thing that doesn't scale. Go talk to customers. Just spend time with customers. However, one practical thing with AI is that if you are talking to customers, you're understanding their problems, you may want to use a tool like ChatGPT or others to analyze that data. Say, for example, you do a 30-minute conversation with a customer. You're getting their pain points. Maybe you and your team are going to interview 50 customers that really understand the problem you're solving and to get product feedback. Now, you transcribe those 50 conversations, 50 hours of discussion. You don't have the time as an entrepreneur to analyze all of that, do you? But generative AI can. And it can save you literally hundreds of hours to get some incredible insights by just that customer feedback in the insights. And I would say that's probably like one thing at a very early stage startup is how do you make customer feedback really efficient so you're getting those insights. It goes back to Mixpanel and that comment before about, yeah, the faster you can get to insight, the faster you can make the product better, and then you can go do the thing that scales.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the profitability is now more critical for the startup to raise fund. You no longer can raise fund with the number of users or the revenue, right? It's over.
Okay, thank you guys
Yeah,
for your advice.
Okay, I think it's time for beer. So yeah, we have a beer. Yeah, for beer and for networking. So thank you. Firstly, thank you to stay until now, and thank you panelists for the, I think the very interesting discussion, very interactive discussion. Thank you again.